Hey guys, this is Howard UBR Tech back with another video. Today's video is going to be how to remove the extractor for an H&K VP9. And so the things you're going to need to accomplish this is going to be some type of armor's block. I'm going to be using my SIG armor's block, but you could use anything you like. Even like a roll of painter's tape would work. The next thing you're going to need is a small hammer like this. And I'm going to be using a 3mm punch. And to clean, after you get the extractor removed, you want to clean that area, so I have a few patches. You could also use paper towels that don't leave lint behind. That's fine as well. Before I get started, I'd like to ask everybody to please subscribe. Every subscriber helps. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we're safe, and how we do that is we push down on this lever and the magazine comes out. Set that aside. Next thing we're going to do, because we're still not safe yet, is we're going to make sure that there's nothing in the chamber. We're going to push forward with this hand and pull back on the slide. And you can see that there's nothing in there. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to push up and hold up on the slide lock while pulling the slide to the rear, just like that. And then we're going to push this lever down to the 6 o'clock position. And then we're going to pull the slide back. And then as soon as you hear that click, slide it forward and take it off the grip module. You could set this aside. Next, what we're going to do is take off the recoil spring and take the barrel out. So now that everything's been removed, what we need to do is get our armor's block. And you notice in this area right here, there's like a gap. So this way, when we're tapping out this pin right here, when we tap that out, it can actually have room to go downward. So you're going to place it over that gap just like this. Because you can see this is where it's going to come out of, and it's going to be placed right over this gap. So it's just going to be like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our punch and we're going to place it over this pin. And we're going to tap it out just like this. Okay, you can see that the pin is pretty much out. Just pull this out. There you go. Set that aside. So as you can see, I left the punch in. And the reason why is because your extractor is under spring tension, and so what I do is I put my thumb over this area right here because that's where the spring is located, and I push it in and I pull out the punch, and then what I do is I slowly let the pressure go, and you can take out your extractor, and there it is. Set this aside, and then there's also a spring with a little rubber, get that out of there, little rubber plunger in there. The rubber plunger gives the spring more tension, and I guess it helps it from wearing too fast. So what I normally do is I wipe all this stuff down just like this. You can see that's not really dirty. Take your extractor and wipe this down. Just like that. And a lot of the fouling is going to be in where this hook is. So you can see where all that's coming off just from digging in there with a patch. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get all that fouling out of there, out of the claw, since you have the extractor out. Once you have that cleaned out, then you want to take another patch and you want to clean this whole area right here, everything. Right where the claw normally is located to take out the spent casing, you want to kind of clean this out and then just, you know, run a patch in here too. So take your patch, I double up, take the punch, and you can rub this in here in that little circle area, and in here, just like this, back and forth, and you can see it was quite dirty. Take another patch and I double it up, and what I'm going to do is rub in this area. This is, like I said, this is the area the claw normally is to take out the spent casing, You can see it's actually not that dirty, because when I do clean my guns, I try to get in that area. And just do another pass inside here. And that's it. So now that we have all that cleaned up, now we can put everything back together. So you're going to take the plunger and the spring, put the plunger in here. The reason why I'm showing you this is because just in case your plunger comes out, you know that there's no one way to put the plunger in. It just goes in there. So you take your spring with the plunger inside and you put it right in there. So let's do that. Pick it up, make sure that the plunger is still in there. Put it into that circle. So to put the extractor back on, you're going to start with the front, and this is the front. You're going to push this in first, and then you're going to slide it to the rear, and then it should look like this. So you notice that the roundish part right here, that's where you're going to put your thumb, and you're going to compress that spring just like that. So this way the holes line up in here. Okay, so you're going to push just like this. You notice that if I didn't push on it, the hole now is like blocked by the extractor. So when you push in, then it lines everything up perfectly. So now that we have everything lined up, what we want to do is, again, keep pressure. So this way the hole is still clear. We want to take our pin and we want to put it in that hole, just like this. Again, there's no one way to put the pin in. You just put it in, just like this. And then what I like to do is I like to get it started. So I take the hammer and I have the nylon side like this. I usually tap that in just in case if you slip off and you hit the slide, this nylon part of the hammer is not going to mar your slide up. So I like to tap that in until at least I get at least kind of flush with the slide. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap in the pin the rest of the way with the punch, and I'll use the bronze side of the hammer. You also don't have to put this on the block anymore because the pin is not going to go all the way through. It's just you're going to tap this in until it becomes flush with the slide. So because you're tapping in this pin, the pin is on this side, right? So when you tap it in, the slide is going to kind of move over like this. So what I like to do is I like to rest my palm on the slide to give it more balance, and then place the punch over the pin, and then once I have it over the pin, then I can tap it in just like this. Now you're going to tap in that pin until it's pretty much flush with the slide, just like this. So you can see it's flush and it's also not sticking out of the top. So we are good to go. Now that we have that done, we can put everything back together. So we're going to take our barrel and put that in. This part of the barrel goes in through this hole right here where my finger is, and it's going to go in through the inside just like that. Go down and the block will fit into this little open area. Then we take our recoil spring and the red part goes over here. So you put the other side into this hole right here. And we're going to kind of compress the spring. We're going to compress it this way while pushing down. Just like that. Make sure it's lined up. And then the next thing we do is take our slide. These two rails are going to go into these two openings right here and right here. And it's going to look something like this. Just like that. Make sure that this piece goes right into that opening right here. And when you get to this part, this is the one thing if you're a new VP9 owner, these two slides right here don't automatically go into this opening and this opening right here. So what you have to do is you have to kind of push the slide downward like this. You can see it's moving ever so slightly. So you push it down and then underneath. So you're going to push down and slide to the rear, so this way you can get underneath those two rails. And now that you're under, you can just pull the slide back while holding up on the slide lock, just like that. Push the lever from the 6 o'clock to the 3 o'clock position. Then you're going to pull the slide back to the rear, the slide lock releases and you can let the slide fly forward. Next, what you're going to do is do a function test, and how you do that is push forward with this hand, pull back on the slide with this hand, do it a few times like that, aim the gun in a safe direction, pull the trigger, and it seems like everything is working properly. Now you just put your mag in. So that's it, guys. You have successfully removed and cleaned and reassembled the extractor for your H&K VP9. If you thought this video was useful, please give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Every subscriber helps. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.